All right. Today I'm here with Sam.
Hey, Lisa.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
And inviting us over.
Yeah, I guess thanks for coming to my office.
Yes, thank you. Okay, I think Yuki wants to join us.
Yeah, let's get Yuki in the mix. There you go.
All right.
We're here with Yuki live.
She's a pro. Sam, you are currently a lender,
Mm-hmm.
and I also know that you have a past life in corporate.
Mm-hmm.
So today I'm going to be asking you some questions.
Perfect.
Right? Let's see. First of all, what did you do in corporate America, and how long were you in that career for?
Yeah, so I spent most of my career as a sales professional in the sports industry. I worked for Nike for 13 years in various account executive and sales director roles. I got into that because I loved sports as a kid, growing up in Chicagoland in the 90s and 80s, and played a little college football at WashU in St. Louis. And my first job was actually working for May department stores in St. Louis, which merged with Macy's. But if you remember, like Marshall Fields,
yes,
that was part of May
course.
Company. So that was my first job, where I spent 3 years really learning the art and science of retail, which really helped me land a job at Nike. At first, advising the sales team on how to sell to retailers and how to plan the business. And then I moved into sales myself and really enjoyed it, moved around the country a bunch. And it's funny that I think in the last 20 years, I've moved like 9 times. Most of those moves across the country, buying and selling houses.
That's right.
So I think that indirectly actually kind of led me to my career, my new career where I am today.
Every day, was it like exciting? Like how would you describe your day?
Yeah, it was exciting. I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. It was very competitive. People did work hard, but it was a fun culture, and it was different. People are like, will ask me like, oh, was it really that hard to sell Nikes? It's like, well, no, the difficult part was not getting retailers to purchase Nike products, but we were tasked with a lot more than that. We had to manage a $40 billion global marketplace. And you don't get to grow to be that big if you're putting the same product in every store. So part of the challenge lies with telling retailers what they can't have. Or that they actually, no, we need you to buy this, not this, or more of this or less of this, and actually having to steer that assortment. That negotiation was pretty challenging at times.
That's very interesting. I did not know. I thought it was the clients that was demanding what's needed, but it was you guys.
Yeah, with brands like that, it's much more led by the brand of what they want to see in retail. It's a negotiation. The retailer still has leverage, and they can decide not to buy something, of course, but Nike wouldn't let them buy as much of any product that they want. Like that was, certain products were restricted entirely, other products were allocated, meaning someone like myself would have to decide, oh, you get this many pairs, you get this many pairs, etc. So yeah, it's pretty, and actually the last part, my last 5 years at Nike, I worked on the energy business, which is, sneakerheads would know this is maybe like quick strikes or collabs, like collaborations with designers.
Yeah.
And so that offense was highly surgical with the allocation of product, where certain products would only be distributed to like 20 partners globally. And they were all boutiques in Tokyo or London or Paris or New York or Los Angeles. And so there was things like very, very limited products that were very surgically distributed, which is kind of part of the brand heat model versus revenue generating.
And over the course of those years that you were in corporate, what was it like moving up the ladders?
Yeah, again, it was competitive, and I played that game. And at the time, it was, hey, if you want to have a great career in sales at Nike, you've got to move around the country to where the jobs are. So I did that, and I did pretty well that way. I was a sales director at age 30, which is pretty young, which was great. But then there is the corporate politics, and as I mentioned, when I was in that energy offense where I'm telling everyone what they can't have, that's a bit of a hot seat. It does actually make, you can make some enemies that way by mistake. So it was pretty political, and that part at the end got to be very challenging.
I see. I think a lot of people experiences that.
Yes. Especially when you get new corporate leadership comes in, they have a different vision. Sometimes there's
always that shift every few years, right?
Yeah.
It's like, well, do I survive this one?
Right.
Do I wait for the next one?
Right.
How long can I do this
right,
one?
Right. If you survive enough reorgs, it's like, well, this axe is going to get me eventually. And sure enough, it came for me eventually. But after 13 years, so I can't complain.
When did you first realize you wanted something different?
Well, after Nike, I did still stick in the sports industry. I came back to Chicagoland to serve as the vice president of sales and strategy for a company called Champro. It's a great little company, not so little actually, a great company that's local. We provided team uniforms and all sorts of equipment, and I enjoyed that. But really, it wasn't that I like hated that world or really wanted out. It was really that I've always kind of had a drive to be a business owner at some point, to actually have ownership. And one of my best friends since the age of 12, Joe Spiro, who you just met, he's talked to me about joining him in the mortgage lending business and taking over his family business. And I thought to myself, wow, the opportunity to have business ownership and then to do it with a person who I love and believe in and get to spend my time with the best friend, like that sounds great.
Wow. Yeah.
And the work's challenging, but when you're doing it with good people and have your own ownership at stake, that's really challenging but rewarding.
So what did the transition look like? How long did you plan it for? How long was the transition? Meaning, was there an overlap?
Yeah.
Was there any doubts?
Yeah.
Or like looking back, like, what was it like?
Yeah, great question. And I'll be totally honest. Yes, there are doubts, and it was really, this winter that I really started thinking about it. And then I made the jump in early spring. And then when I made the jump, I did move pretty quick. And I didn't spend a lot of time kind of second guessing. But, as I made a lot of calls to people who were in the business and talked to a lot of people, got a lot of great advice. There was one call I had with a gentleman who was very nice and just very honest. Sure. And he was kind of said like, hey, why would you do this? Like, sounds like you got a great career going in the sports industry. This is really hard. Like, there's all this competition out there. Like, it's tough out there. Why are you doing this? And that did cause me to just second guess myself a little bit. I took a little bit of time to just like reflect upon that conversation, but that only kind of scared me for a day or two.
Yeah.
And then I just, but it was healthy. It's good to go into something new with eyes wide open, and it's not always fun as or anyone knows that has any job, it's going to be work, right? And when you go into a new career, it's definitely humbling because you're learning a lot and you're no longer a master of your craft. You have to work your way back up there. So that takes some humility and hard work.
Yes. And I love that humbleness, that's for sure. Because I'm jumping into real estate. I jumped into real estate where the average age is a little bit on the higher side. Right. I think like mid 40s to like 50s usually. But a lot of people are in a younger generation and they're very successful too. You see these like Instagrammers, like top agents. But I have to be humble and I love learning from them too, right?
Yeah.
And I have a friend realtor she's in her mid 30s, and she is just like, she guides me so much.
That's nice.
So corporate sometimes is harder because when you get a title and when you kind of move your way up there, your mentality unknowingly is a little bit different, right? Sometimes people lose that. Yeah. But I think I like it as a human growth, like moving into a different career and kind of not restarting over. Yeah. I do like that.
Yeah. I mean, I think, we may have chatted about it, but like, I know you had a great career in the logistics and operations and then, coming over, to real estate, it's like, you have to have that humble attitude. And I know that you do as well. And it's like, but that's how you learn, right? Like when you challenge yourself and get uncomfortable, like that's when you learn and get better. And sometimes it's just nice to have new problems, right? Like same old problems year after year, kind of get old after 20 years, right? But, give me some new problems and we've got those. So that's good.
I like that.
Yeah, now we're watching the Fed and rates and this and that and all the laws and bills. So it keeps you on your toes for sure.
Yes, a lot more things to learn too, right? Oh, very interesting. I like that a lot. What did your financial situation look like? I mean,
no,
it's to share everything.
No, it's okay. I'll share without like sharing too many details, but it went from very comfortable to now pretty uncomfortable. And that's, you know, anyone new starting out in this business, as you know, Lisa, like you're starting at square one. There's no salary. There's no bi-weekly check coming in, no matter how good you are or how new you are. So certainly, you know, it's a sacrifice that in that sense.
Yeah.
I'm blessed to have had, you know, that Nike career where I was able to put away some savings to be able to do this and start off with very low income. But obviously it needs to pick up, and you know, savings won't last forever. So there's no choice but to be successful at some point soon. And I know you feel a similar way.
Yes. And on the other side though, there's things that you gain too, right? Time, family quality time, anything on this?
Well, yeah. And I mean, you know, I've been working pretty hard just to learn as much as possible. So I haven't necessarily been working any less, but certainly the flexibility is a lot better. You know, I don't have to call a boss to be like, hey, you know, I need to take a day off because my family's in town. I'm like, hey, Joe, I'm going to go see my family. Like, no problems, right? So that's nice. And, you know, we can make decisions and go, which is great, versus corporate life. You know, even a mid-sized company like Champro, it's, you know, you've got to make sure that everyone's on board and you got people aligned. At Nike or like at a major global logistics company, I had like 6 bosses above me before I got to the CEO. So I wasn't making a lot of big decisions there. So it's kind of nice having that ability to succeed and fail, but it's on you, which is cool.
Yeah, I think what you're saying is very real.
Yeah.
And it's at the same time, it's very encouraging too, because it's the truth.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's like other people have done this. You know, if you feel confident in yourself, like, hey, if other people can do it, why can't I do it?
Yes.
It's just going to take hard work and time.
So what do you like most about your current career?
Yeah, getting someone into a home is very rewarding. You know, like sitting at the closing table with a client who you've been working hard for them for the last few weeks or whatever, and they've been working hard, and for many people, it's the biggest financial move of their life, or it's a lifelong dream, and it takes, you know, many people 30, 40 plus years to achieve that dream. And it's very satisfying helping someone get there. You know, it just feels great. Like you feel like, man, I've really made a difference, and like this family's super happy, or this lady or this gentleman is super happy. That feels great.
Yeah, I can't agree more. Yeah.
You know, and I will say it's also a puzzle. It's challenging.
Okay.
You know, so like that, I think for me, that's nice. Like I don't want something to be too boring or too easy. And with the mortgage world and just the sheer number of options out there, and it's like a puzzle. And so it really challenges you. Okay, I got borrower here. I've got all these different like lending sources and loan types. How do I fit the perfect puzzle piece together? It's a challenge.
It's not plugging a number, right?
It's not just data entry.
Yeah, I think a lot of buyers feel that way. So do you feel like buyers are scared of lenders or realtors sometimes? I
think like most people, I remember being a first-time home buyer, I was certainly a little intimidated by the whole thing. It's just like, wow, I just don't know anything about this. And I really like hope this person's looking out for me, you know?
So coming from that side, how do you position yourself, or how do you?
Yeah, I try to educate people to as much as they're willing to take. I don't want to go to the level to where people are like, whoa, stop, you're killing me. But I do want to push them a little bit to understand as much as they want to, so that they can feel confident that we're doing the best that we can for them. And that and because a lot of this is their decision too. You know, I can do a lot to tailor a certain loan to a buyer's preferences. So I really want them to be as educated as possible. So I usually do little presentations for my borrowers and spend the time to like really dive in and show them like, let me show you the work.
Yes.
To the point where it's not ridiculous, but to the point where you understand an FHA versus a conventional loan, or what happens if you decide to put 10% down versus 5% down, and what those numbers look like. So I do like to educate, and I like to focus on monthly payments and cash to close, in addition to, of course, where they're going to live. But for me, that's I try to say, okay, I've showed you a lot, but remember, we're focused on 2 numbers here: monthly payments and cash to close.
Yes.
And then that helps it kind of like, okay, there's a lot to know, but those are the important things. We have I think both you and I, and anyone in this industry, does have not only a legal responsibility, and in my case, a fiduciary responsibility, but like just moral and ethic obligation to look out for folks and not put them in an uncomfortable position to where they're like, man, I am now house poor and I'm having trouble paying my bills. I think many of us have been there, and it's not a good feeling. Yes. So I really try to be honest and really try to make sure that people go in with eyes wide open.
Do you miss anything about the corporate life?
Stock options were nice. But no, I do miss people. I miss some of the people. I was blessed to work with a lot of really smart, motivated, talented, hardworking people at both Nike, Champro, and even going back to Macy's. And so really what I miss most are some of my friends that I made there. So I still stay in touch with a handful and I'm trying to do a little better job of that. But really the people are like the only thing I miss are the people.
It is irreplaceable.
Yeah, because the corporate life has its nice insurance, I guess, and the steady paycheck. But I much prefer this, having an independent small business that you can be nimble, fast, you can help people, and that's a lot better. Yeah. It's just been a lot more fun so far.
What advice would you give someone who feels stuck?
Yeah, this is great. I think a lot of us feel stuck at times, whether you feel stuck in a career that's not fulfilling or stuck with a toxic culture or stuck on the sidelines, right? Like you're just not able to find a good job opportunity. And I've struggled with that more than most maybe. And I think like one thing that helped me is like when you're feeling in that like stuck zone where you're like sitting in front of your computer, you're kind of losing your energy, you're feeling down, I would really advise people to go ahead and step away for a day. Give yourself 2 days. Let your brain work through some of that stuff and let your body and like your soul kind of, maybe do something that feels good. For me, I love exercising and, going for walks or hikes or whatever, or going to just do something that like is good for your soul and back away from it because then you can come back and like set up a plan for yourself, plan the work and then work the plan. So like I like to set up my daily schedule to where like each hour is blocked off. Like, okay, here's what I'm going to attack during this hour. That way I'm never sitting here like, oh, what should I be doing right now? There's a million things to do. I don't know which way, because that happens to all of us. Yes. So I step away and then plan the work and then work it. That's kind of my advice that has at least worked for me.
I think that is kind of a sign of a burnout. So it's kind of indicator. When you're freezing. Right.
If a lot of people, if you spend the 20 years or 30 years or whatever, even 10 years in a certain job that can just wear on you over time. Yeah. Sometimes you need a little step back and just like to get away from your computer for a day or two.
So if someone is waiting for a perfect time, what would you tell them? To switch careers or make a change?
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to like totally dismiss that notion because there are legitimate reasons to why one would want to wait for a child to graduate before making a big career move. There are certain circumstances, and I think for many people, family comes first. But I wish I would have done this sooner. I'll say that. Like, I wish I would have taken this leap a little sooner. And no regrets, like it is what it is, and I'm happy and moving forward. But I see like my friends and others that have like moved into small business ownership or business ownership earlier on and worked at it. And now it's really, really paying off for a lot of those folks. I would just encourage people, if there's not a real reason to wait, that's like big personal reason or family reason, you're just going to regret it most likely the longer you wait.
Okay, well, thank you. I think that was really good. I loved hearing about, how you came to this path, the transition part, right? And then I can see how passionate you are.
It's
for your
nice.
new career.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. I enjoyed selling sneakers and apparel and shoulder pads and even jock straps at Champro. But I enjoyed that. I love sports, but like this is actually even more rewarding. Being able to get someone into a home is such an important deal. So, God bless everyone that helps make that happen. It's a noble cause, I think.
Yes. Thank you.
Thanks, Lisa.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And I'll upload this into YouTube and Spotify. So hopefully people can catch up.
All right, it's been a pleasure.
All right, thank you.
Cut.